There's the plate amp inside the subwoofer. I just got done recapping the thing because it was thumping and humming. And it started out humming, then started thumping when I'd plug it in, and then basically once I got it fixed, it tore the other subwoofer apart, and I'll show you the tear on that. There it is, tore apart. You can kind of, it looks bad. I'd not even, I don't even think it could be possibly repaired. You push on it, you can see the separation there. It's been a great subwoofer though. There's the original woofer that came in the Sunfire True subwoofer, the MK2, and that one right there. And then that's a Scar subwoofer that I got online for about 150 bucks. And the Sundown subwoofer looks very similar, but anyway, that's the one I got. It's a little more money for the Sundown, but anyway, the magnets are pretty close, and we're gonna put it in the box and see what happens, because that one supposedly when you could get it was 600 bucks, 150 bucks. So okay, the hole sizes were different. The Carver subwoofer was slightly less diameter, and so I had to oval the holes, and then I filled them with JB Weld quickset, and then I'm going to re-drill them. I thought about just drilling them or filling them and then drilling them, but then I thought, well, it's going to be different consistency, so I decided to go this way. And yeah, there it is. I filled from the back side. I put tape, blue tape, painter's tape on this side, and I filled it from the other side. And that's what it looks like on the top. And the tape was on the bottom. I should have filmed more of it, but I didn't. And so I'm gonna, cut that and get it flush, and then I'll fill from the bottom, and then I'm gonna put the speaker on and drill the bigger holes. And then let's see, on these things, what I did is I had to, since it's closer to the wall, I changed the profile of these. I don't know if you can see that, but they're usually kind of round, but I cut them with like some snips, and then I kind of filed it down a little bit so that it can get closer to the wall, and then hopefully that'll work. We'll see. Oops, not that. You can see it comes off. If you do it before it gets real hard, you can do that and save yourself a lot of sanding. When I flipped it over, I had to backfill a couple of them. I'm sure there's going to be a few bubbles and voids in it, but the best thing to do is to string it in and let it, only do like 2 holes at a time so that it could, flow down in, because I think it only has a 6-minute working time on this. After placing the speaker up on top, I drilled through the JB, and I used, there's the screws that were in it. You don't have to buy new screws. Use a smaller bit, and then the actual nut washer things that go on the back side are slightly fatter, so have to pre-drill or drill the back side so that those will fit in. So I just tapes to mark the depth. Plus you'll notice I have a long drill bit, which will help a lot when we go inside, because you couldn't get a drill right next to that, and even as it is, it's going to be a little bit of an angle problem, but way better with a long drill bit. It'd be nice if it was a little longer than I got, but right inside, right about there, the circuit is touching the speaker, so I put a little piece of foam in there. Once I put the woofer back together, the radiator, passive radiator, was slapping. And I heard some people use shoe goop, but there's some stuff I been using on my RV seals. And this is right where the sound was coming from, right over here. But if I rotate this and go to another section, you can see that it's not delaminated. It's on there good. And it was making a kind of a clicky sound when it got a big excursion. You know, I'll show you the stuff on the trailer. It's very similar. This is kind of sticky, and it's very tough, sticky kind of. Okay. One of the ways I found it when it was working, I had this stethoscope here that's used for automobiles, and I was just going around and listening, and you could hear it go tick 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 tick, like hit the subwoofer, and it go brr 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 brr, because I had a constant tone on, kind of brr 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 brr, and then brr brr brr. So it made a different sound, and okay, here's the seal on my RV, and it's very similar. You can feel it's tacky kind of, and it has the same properties of really rubbery kind of, but still tough. Here's the same stuff that I put on my RV like about 3 days ago, but it's kind of like not that warm out, and I don't know if you can see this. Come on, camera, focus. Right there, you can see that my nail can damage it a little easier. It's still tough, but I guess I recommend that, you know, since it seems like the same stuff, that I'd maybe put it in the oven. Well, there's the tip. This was in the garage too, from when I applied that stuff that was like 3 or 4 days old, and you can see it's still malleable. So it'd probably take a while to cure, but I don't know, I thought about putting like contact cement on the crack and then putting this over it or something. But you can play the subwoofer with free air, and it doesn't sound too bad. You just don't want to crank it up as much. Anyway, this is a tripolymer. It's that stuff that seems very similar. I'm just spreading it apart a little bit and putting some of this in there and work it in, kind of like putty. And get it down in there real good. Lose it in there. Okay, you can kill it. But I got it on there pretty good too. I probably doubled what they had thickness wise. And I did it all the way around. That way, you know, you got just to strengthen up the part that could break in the future. So what the hell. Now I go throw it in the oven at 140. This is the cardboard that the subwoofer came in, and I was just cutting it a little bit because the passive radiator is a little bit fatter than that, and so, and I pushed it down here by hand, so that might be good enough. So we'll take the passive radiator, throw it in here, and then it should, yeah, it's looking pretty good now. When I put it in earlier, it was kind of up onto the surround. But I'm going to put it in this way because of the fact that the glue that you can see there, if it gets warm, might drip down. And I don't want that. I want that to stay kind of where it is. So, I know this oven only goes to 170. Let's go to convection bake, excuse me. And then we'll probably just let it kind of bring it up to almost that temperature and then shut it down. I'm thinking 140 is probably safer. Going to play some pretty bass intensive tracks here. Let's try this one, and to show you that it's open back so you can enjoy it somewhat while waiting for the passive to dry. You can see it still sounds pretty decent. And there's the settings. Turn that up. Get this up. a different track. Let's see this one. And to mind you, that's a little above. Still makes some pretty good sound, even without the passive radiator in it. So, I'll turn it up a little more here. But at least you can play. Here it is, back together. Stuff over there vibrating. Yeah, it's vibrating the hell out of the house. It's working pretty good.